Hello, I'm David Stishon. I'm going to share with you a brief history of the Scottish Presbyterian Church and its effect upon early American history. The Scottish Presbyterian Church is a Protestant denomination with a confessional tradition. The church traces back to John Calvin and the Scot John Knox, who brought the Reformed Church to Scotland. Led by elected church leaders from congregation to synod, the Presbyterians launched a tradition that affects their outlook on representative government. Beginning in 1607, King James I sent many Scottish Presbyterians to live in Ulster in Northern Ireland to displace the Irish and to establish British control there. Within 100 years, these former Scots were migrating to America to avoid continued warfare with the Irish and to avoid English demands that they join the Anglican Church of Ireland. These Scottish immigrants were mostly Presbyterians who usually passed through the settled coastal areas of the colonies and struck out for the frontier to find cheap land and to avoid the British authorities. Scots-Irish settlers coming down the Great Philadelphia Wagon Road from Pennsylvania began to populate the back country from Maryland to Georgia. Later, more branched west on the Wilderness Road to Kentucky and Tennessee. Princeton University, originally the College of New Jersey, was founded by pro-revival Presbyterians in 1747 to train ministers. College presidents included Jonathan Edwards and John Witherspoon. The latter embraced the vision of representative government and became involved in politics. Witherspoon's first Patriots sermon, preached in May 1776, stated, quote, "Resistance to tyranny is obedience to God," unquote. The sermon drew praise for Witherspoon as a rebel, but British loyalists burned him in effigy. Quote, "There is no good crying about the matter," Horace Walpole told the House of Commons. "Cousin America has run off with the Presbyterian parson, and that is the end of it," unquote. As the only clergy delegate to the Second Continental Congress, Witherspoon signed the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and later helped ratify the Constitution. The British complained that they seemed to be fighting a Presbyterian war for independence. Many of the Scots-Irish strongly supported the Patriot movement and comprised half of the Continental Army. One Hessian officer published his journal after the war and stated, quote, "Call this war by whatever name you may, but call it not an American rebellion. It is nothing more or less than a Scotch-Irish Presbyterian rebellion," unquote. Testifying to the House of Commons, a British major general stated that, quote, "half the rebel Continental Army were from Ireland," unquote. King George III supposedly called it his Presbyterian War, and frustrated about American rebel leaders stated, "Are they not Presbyterians?" Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, with a large Scots-Irish immigrant population, created the first proclamation for independence from Britain, and the Mecklenburg Declaration of May 20th and the Mecklenburg Resolves of May 31st, 1775. During the dark days of the struggle at Valley Forge, George Washington declared, "If defeated everywhere else, I will make my last stand for liberty among the Scots-Irish," unquote. According to course guidelines, historians are to be honest and objective in their research and avoid bias. For this reason, I disclose to you that I am the direct descendant of the Alexanders, 6 of whom signed the Mecklenburg Resolves. Of those, 2 fought in the Revolutionary War in the North Carolina Infantry and serves my direct lineage to the sons of the American Revolution. After the War for Independence, the now American Presbyterian Church expressed a desire to evangelize among those who continued to cross the mountains into new territories. At the beginning of the Second Awakening, 2 Calvinist sects, the Congregational Churches of New England and the Presbyterian Church of the United States, agreed to the Plan of Union of 1801 as an alliance to work together to evangelize the American frontier. The Presbyterian Church has prospered as a healthy, pious, and representative body of congregational Christians to this day, and continues to contribute to our nation as a vital part of the American faith community. I'm David Stishon, and this has been a presentation in American Christian Heritage.